Welcome. Excuse my voice, but I have been pretty laid low for the last week, so I'm just on the other side of that now, just clearing up. So I wanted to show you some of the things that I wouldn't do next year as my first year growing in such a small space on a patio. So here goes. So one is, in this area, I have this sort of pot arrangement. You put a pot in the middle and the weight of it holds it up here. I've put two, I don't know if you can see this, two massive tomato plants in one of these little pots. And I think that only takes one tomato plant. And what's more, the compost has been absolutely useless. So my job next year is to make sure I get some decent compost and do not overcrowd my pots. And you'll see evidence of this all the way along this patio, that I've tried to cram in too much and it's been terrible compost. So I could probably cram it in, but when the compost was so awful, there's just no joy in that. So one of the things I need to be really aware of, and from now on, if I'm going to continue to grow in pots on the patio, is to make sure the compost is good and that they've got plenty of food, because there's nowhere else for them to take their food from in the soil. So I did start watering with a seaweed mix, but then when I started planting up the new plants, and you'll see the difference, I put them in a decent soil with chicken manure pellets. So these have been in since the beginning of the season. I haven't really done much with them because I just know they're not going to produce much, and it feels pretty sad. The same with these beans. They went in one of those segments at the bottom, and again, look at them. They've just really suffered. Too many in the pot, not enough food, and with the dry summer we've had, it's not been very good for them. So let me leap over to here, because this is what I did right. I've put them in decent compost. Obviously I haven't been too good at taking the side shoots out, but they're coming out now. I put it in decent compost with loads of green manure to put in, the pellets and stuff. Staked them, and look at the colour of the leaves. I don't know if you can see that. They're a beautiful dark green. Obviously I don't want to grow just leaves, so I have to be careful to get rid of these shoots that are just popping up everywhere, that I've obviously not done since I've been unwell this week. I haven't really had much interest in what's going on out here because of the terrible things I've had wrong with me. So basically, now this is another problem I should have anticipated. It's not like I've never grown tomatoes before, but sorry, you can just see my shape there. Is that I put them in two small pots, and I've put them in the middle as opposed to at the sides of the border. So I've got my short cabbage right near the wall, when I really should have all of my tomatoes right near the wall. But unfortunately I sowed too many tomato seeds, didn't know who to give them to, didn't want to destroy them, thought they might go somewhere, and this is how they've all ended up crowding the middle of my patio. So it is a real mess, but it's very productive. But it is a productive mess, if you know what I mean. So I would definitely plan it in future that the things that are going to get tallest go against the wall, and the things that are going to stay lowest stay near the bottom, and then you're not sort of battling with canes and branches to get anywhere. What's the next thing I've done? Oh yeah, I've grown some things under cover up here, but look what's happened to these ones. Little critter, the cabbage white, has managed to get in and decimate that planting, and they were winter plantings. So I've managed to salvage a few. There's quite a few there. I'm going to stick them over the allotment at some point. And I've got onions here, so I've planted these onions. Oh, I thought they were dead yesterday. They were absolutely flat as a pancake, so they've come back with a bit of water. So yeah, so I'd probably plan it a lot differently this year and be quite brutal with some of the plants that I don't need. Just go and perhaps plant them wild somewhere, you know, give them a chance, but not on my patio. What else can I teach you? I've been really, really good with the basil. I've got loads and loads of basil this year. I think the basil has really loved the heat and the dryness. Look, there's a whole another load of basil here. And I love using basil, but unfortunately my smell and taste isn't very good. It smells like soap at the moment, so I'm hoping that changes at some point. So what else? Oh yeah, so when you've got stuff that is not producing, i.e. your fruit bushes, do not stop watering them, otherwise this happens. And I'm lucky, I've got one tiny green shoot that might salvage this plant if I carry on watering. But what I've done is, not realising, because they're in pots, if they're in the ground it's not critical at all. But now they're in pots and they're nowhere near the earth, it's really important to keep them watered, even if they're not producing. You tend to think, well, I just water them when they need producing, which you do when they're young. Oh, when they're in the ground, sorry. Oh, look, it's a very beautiful plant that's just come up. Don't know. Iris? No, it's not an iris. Please mention what you think that is. And look at this. Absolutely stripped of all life. Some lovely little critters just enjoying, just enjoying nibbling all the way through that. I think I've probably lost my kale for winter, but I think if I put some seeds in now, I might get a few leaves before winter. Especially if I leave them out here somehow. So, and you can see these leeks have come on really nice. I don't know if you can see that in this sunshine. Let's see if I can stand behind it. Yeah, they've come on really nice, these leeks. They're looking good too there. I've got them in most pots because it keeps the squirrel away. There's one. There's a couple there. There's one there. So I do tend to put the odd stray leek in a pot, which is good. So I think that's all I can show you at the moment. I've got some beautiful purple beans here that I planted quite late, and I've got some green beans there that I planted late in pots. The other thing I would say is water like mad in the dry weather, because they're going to need that. So I think that's all I can say for now. But hope you enjoyed looking briefly at some of the stuff on the patio, and I'll do a productivity one as well shortly. Tell you what I've had off here.